Index, and then I worked at the college paper in Madison. After, actually there's another indexer there, and that's the only reason I started there, because Boss was there. And then
J-Boss or Ashley Boss?
J-Boss. And then I was like, I should switch my major and did journalism in Madison. And then I moved to South Dakota and worked at a small paper there, and then I moved back to Appleton for 3 years, and then for the last 3 years I've been at USA Today. Like, some of the things we've been taught is like you don't want to ask questions you don't know the answer to. Like, you're there, you want the goods before you ask a lot of those targets, especially like, instead of asking, did you do this, you can ask, here's what we found through our investigation, can you explain these? But like that to me is like the coolest part of journalism, like the watchdog, investigative, when you're really putting screws to someone. So we do a lot of that, which means you're like always fighting for stuff that they don't want you to have, and then always trying to get people to talk that don't want to talk. So it's hard. But there was like a definite change when I started for USA Today. Like, people call you back more often because they know if you don't, like, we're gonna burn you in like a huge national publication. So every summer. And I think like the top reporter in the country is this guy named Matt Apuzzo. He's at the Times, but he wrote his thing for the board on the group, being like, none of the stuff he does is like secret. And everyone always asks him like, hey man, like, what's your secret? How do you get all these great scoops? And he uses like the same formula that he used at like Tiny Paper, at the EP, at the Times. Like, his whole thing is sourcing up, and he talks about like having all your sources before there's a panic. So like, he covered transportation, so he had a bajillion like Amtrak people, so that when there was an Amtrak derailment, he wasn't like scrambling to find sources. He had like the maintenance guy who was like, yeah, the like Amtrak was busted. So you can do that. Like, the moral is you can do stuff, like great stuff, and people will call you back from any organization, like small, big. Like, I've talked to Northwestern, like someone should be pushing for answers, being like, what did you do to investigate? Like, why haven't you found anybody? Like, well, we cover them now. So I'm on this team that's like full time, covering the business and the conflicts and stuff, which is like really unprecedented, and it's like gonna set up. It's asking all these questions, and we're gonna slowly like start resolving, like, what's okay, is this gonna change forever, because he owns his business, and like that's constantly in conflict. It's also like everybody's new and different, so like a lot of the agencies are going completely different directions than they have. Like, they've been set up to do this, and they're just like veering. So a lot of it's just really new, and like it looks crazy because it's really divergent from where we've been going for so many years. But then there's other stuff that people like forget the Bush administration had done, and it's just reversing policies, and it's flipping. So in some ways it's like totally radical and like as crazy as it looks, and then in some ways it's just not. And it's the same as 8 years ago. People have bet on it. I think you will now. I think the checks, like the Supreme Court case on the travel ban that's going to get decided, is like a super good example that like no matter what, we have checks in place to like keep the crazy from completely going overboard. And there's been like numerous, the travel ban, like the voter commission, where he's trying to kind of push the boundaries. He's been like smacked back by the courts. Still this real big collision between people who just don't trust the media at all, and they truly believe that there are people trying to misinform people, which is great. Like, for like a mainstream reporter, it's like, what? For people who like dedicate themselves to like sifting through garbage to make sure people know like the truth, it's like hard when people just won't accept it. Well, yeah. So the interesting thing is just how off guard people were, like not only the polls but just the coverage. So people were really not. I think our team was actually more. We did more vetting of Trump specifically, and like gave him the attention that people said weren't, or like the critical attention that people said weren't coming to him. But yeah, that's another thing that's dangerous, I think, for the profession, is there are more like columnist, activist writers than like mainstream. Like, we have very strict rules, like you don't put bumper stickers on your car, you don't You know, like, we don't have rules against voting. That's like the only thing, but basically anything else, they're pretty tight on me, down to tweets and individual Facebook posts. I do record a lot of my interviews now, especially in the high stakes stuff where people could accuse you of misquoting them, and they have the laws per state. So a lot of states are two-party. You don't have to tell the other party you're recording them, like Colorado. So I record everything, and I don't tell anybody. And then if they call back and be like, "That's not what I said," I just pull up the clip and be like, "This is exactly."